Y'all, I'm excited. I am so excited about about this. This is looking cool. So with this video, I really just want to try to fill in this page. I'm not too sure how much I will get done, but you know what? We are gonna try. All right. So we need this kneaded eraser. I'm gonna work on number 67 here first. So all of these heads are actually from the 100 heads challenge that I did. Today I'm gonna try to do minimal editing just so then it's more realistic and less sped up. I just want to see how it goes, honestly. Let me go ahead and get my swatches here. Okay, so I do have my skin tone swatches here, and I have my other ones as well. I think I'm going to look at this one first because I feel like it is the closest to his skin tone. So we have E210, and then I think we're just going to go with E220 as well. He does have a little bit of a pink undertone, so maybe I can also go with R20. No, YR20. That's the one that we want. We will work on his hat after because he has a black hat on, and I just like to start with getting the whole face done. I'm gonna avoid his eyes, but everywhere else we can do his lips are a little bit of a pink tone, and I think if I go over it with this marker we should be fine, so I'm gonna just go ahead and go all over. Okay, so we have the base down of the face. I'm going to go in with that same marker, and I'm just going to go in the back here around his neck and try to get some of the shading a little bit more. Which I think just going in with that same marker helps get the shading in where you want it to be before you add in another color. And then there's bits where the marker actually like bled outside of my sketch, which is fine. I'll fix it later. I'm gonna go in and add in some of the shadows to the ear as well. Okay, now I can go in with that E220 and add in a little bit more detail. I think I'm gonna go with the broad chisel bit. I'm gonna try to do that for most of this portrait. I don't normally actually do that on a regular basis. I typically go with the brush tip, but I want to try something a little bit different this time. Is it going to work? I don't know. We will find out together. I would like him to look chiseled just because the reference shows that he's pretty chiseled, you know, so I want to keep that look. I'll add shading there, here, put it here. Which so far I do like how his face is turning out. I am going to go back in with the E210 and this time still with the brush tip, and I'm just going to, or with the chisel tip, I'm going to try to blend some of these markings that I've made. Not all of them because I do want it to kind of show through a little bit with this portrait. And then we do need a little bit more shading, I feel like, right in here. Not too much, but you know, just enough to add a little bit more contrast to his face. Add just a little bit more here as well, just to give his face a little bit more depth because it's not fully coming through how I want it to. And then to blend everything together, I usually just go over the entire face. And then this time I am going to avoid the lips just because I don't want them to get too dark. Now we are going to go back in with the E210, and I am going to use the brush tip this time just because I'm going to add in a little bit more detail to his ear. And then just add a little bit more details in there because I think that'll help bring it to life a little bit. Then he's got line coming down here. And then we're gonna put that there. He does have like a shadow from his earring here and then a little freckle. We'll add those in. And then I do want to go maybe a shade darker. I am going to use the brush tip for this bit because I want to add in some shadows up top here and then also below his eye. We do need to add a line. We could also just darken up his nostril so that we can have a little bit more of a separation there. And we will add a line there and then come down and then add in more of a shadow here. Okay, and then we're gonna add a little bit more shadow into his ear just because I feel like it's missing a little bit of that dimension there. So we will add in just a little bit. We'll add some right underneath his jaw and then maybe in here as well. We will go in with that E220 and I'm gonna add in a shadow just on the outer part of his nose, which I really like how this is coming out. I feel like we need to blend just a little bit, and then he does need a little bit more of a shadow there. We could also go back to that 240 and then we will add just a little bit of this line here, and then I want to blend it with our lightest color. And hopefully that'll lighten up just a little bit. And now we could actually probably go in and add in some of the darker tones. I didn't add any of this YR20. I think it'll add in that red tone that I'm looking for. So we will just put that along his cheek here. And then afterwards, I'm going to blend it again with our lightest color, but I'm going to use the brush tip this time. He does have quite dark eyes, but I am going to go in with the Y12. I'm just going to use this on his eye. And then afterwards, I'll add in his pupil, and that'll be a little bit darker. And then I'm going to use this same color for his mustache and his soul patch as well. Okay. And I probably could have also used a colored pencil for this bit, but I'm going to do that at the very end. He does have hair on his chin, but I'm going to save that for later. We will go ahead and do a little bit of his eyebrow here. Not too much because I want to use the detail from the colored pencil. And now we can go ahead and move on to his lips. I think I'm going to go with the BR3 just because it does have that pinky color, but it'll also bring in some of the brown from his lips. Okay, so I think that's okay. It's actually not the color that I was going for, but we're gonna leave it because it's there now. The next thing that I want to do, I'm gonna let his lips dry just a little bit. I'm gonna go in with a gray color, this GG060, because I think that'll make it easier for me to add in the dark colors. I think I'm gonna go section by section. So we're gonna do this bottom bit first. We can go in with a shade that's slightly darker. So that GG9 I think is dark enough. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with that first color that we had. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the rest of the hat. So I think this is actually pretty good, like a good base before I add the colored pencil. So let's do that now. Okay, so now we can go in and add in more detail to his face. And I want to use this dark brown for his eyes. I'm actually going to sharpen this pencil a little bit. I may have made them a little too a little too long, but we can pretend like we didn't see it. I like how his eyes look. They are a touch too feminine, but I think we'll be okay. I might be able to work some magic or something. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go around and just adding shading in certain places or hair strokes like his eyebrows, which that looks really cool actually, because I'm liking how everything's kind of like lining up with each other. And then he has a little bit of the scragglies on his chin. So I'm gonna try not to make them so uniform. And then we're gonna just add in his hair back here. Okay, which I like how this looks, but I think I need to like add just a little bit of shading to the back, just so that it is a little bit darker back here. But for right now, let's go in and just add in some of the shading to his face. But we are gonna mix burnt ochre and cocoa brown to try and get the depth that I'm looking for, just the shadows on his face. So like he has a shadow here right underneath the hat, right? And then that goes into his eyebrow and it comes around this way towards the end of his eyebrow. So I'm just doing very light strokes and it kind of comes down just a little bit over here as well. And then I'll add in shading here as well. We will try to use this cocoa brown to just add a little bit of depth, add in some of that shadow, you know. I definitely could have used a marker for this bit, but I don't think I have one that is the right shade. Now we can go in with cocoa brown and we're gonna add in just a little bit of the shadows here. And then we're gonna use this color just to add depth, which I like that a lot. I think what we also need to do is add in just a little bit more of a shadow underneath his jaw here. Nice jawline, add in a little bit more here and here, which that looks pretty sweet. If you ask me, that looks pretty cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna darken up his nostril as well. And then on the inside here. Let's try this honey. I am a little bit nervous to use this, so we'll see how it goes. But no, that's okay. We are doing all right. I am gonna kind of shade all of his face just so then it's not so flat. I feel like his ear especially is really flat. There's nothing to it. So we're gonna add a little bit of shading. And then I'm gonna go in with the burnt ochre again, and I'm gonna shade right underneath his eye here. I'm going to try to keep it as light as possible because it's not really that dark right here. So just keep it really light, and then I'm going to try to blend with this honey. Just a little bit. I think I can actually try to blend just a little bit more right here. We could actually add in a little bit more of a shadow here as well and kind of bring that up to the whole of the nose like that. And then just a touch. I don't want to add too much right here because there honestly is not that big of a shadow on his face, but I think that did it. That was cool. Y'all, I'm excited. I am so excited about about this. This is looking cool. Okay, let's come in with this one and blend just a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit more of a shadow to the top of his eyelid here. Add a little bit here. Just a little bit of a shadow right here. Add a shadow where I see it, because like in here, there's also a shadow. There are highlight bits, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in some of those highlights. Ooh, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and then this highlight here, and then there's a slight highlight here, and then there's a little bit right here. I do have my paint pens as well, just in case I need to make it a little bit lighter. Okay, and I've gotten some colored pencils for his lips. Now, I'm kind of worried that this isn't going to work just because like this colored pencil is a little too light, but this one's almost too red for his face. And so maybe we could just go in with this brown a little bit and just darken it up. It's kind of working just a little bit. I'm gonna go in with this brown. I think this pink color is actually a good base. It's kind of peachy, but this brown is helping me balance everything out, which I'm loving. I am going to add in just a little bit of red, not too much, because I am going to go over it. I'm excited. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this looks pretty good. We will use this paint pen. I'm just going to clean up his nose really quick. Hopefully I don't mess up. Don't want to sneeze. I'm just kidding. Everything's fine. Okay, but see, I think that just that little bit really helped. Now I'm gonna finish off his hat and I will be right back. I'm excited about it. I do really like how his skin turned out. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, comment, and a subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.